Excellent. Well, welcome everybody to our CASA Conversations session. And this is a long anticipated day. We've been planning this session for quite a while, and finally got our ring in a date, and we're really happy that you all could attend this session. We have Barry Martin, who is the incredible leader of the Idea Center, and he's going to spend some time with us with our Virginia network to go over somewhat briefly the outcomes of our Virginia public awareness and volunteer recruitment campaign that has concluded. We were able to extend it because the ARPA funds, we had a little bit longer leash on those funds, so we were able to extend it for longer than the time that we had anticipated. But I did, just for those who might be a little new to the network, I wanted to just give a little bit of a background on our campaign, and I hope I'm not stealing any of your thunder, Barry. But 2 years ago, our CASA programs had the opportunity to really, for the first time ever in our history, consider the possibility of a statewide public awareness campaign, which we had hoped would help boost our efforts with volunteer recruitment, because unless you have awareness, you can't boost your recruitment. So through the availability of our ARPA funding, the state leadership team marketing committee really spearheaded that process. DCJS pushed out the funding, but the marketing committee from the state leadership team really did all the heavy lifting on pushing forward this initiative. So they prepared a strategy that really built on the successes of the marketing committee to date prior to this, and solicited proposals from across the state to several public relations firms, and the Idea Center was selected as the organization to lead that charge. So really the basic goals of this project was to increase overall statewide awareness of CASA and to assist in the recruitment of CASA volunteers. A couple of the overall goals really were to increase traffic to our relatively new CASA website, and then to increase the number of individuals who weren't previously familiar with CASA, and then hopefully increase the number of volunteers. So without really taking too much more time, I just thought it might be helpful for those who weren't around at the time when we had initiated this project. Just give a little bit of background on what all of this was about. We did, like I said, we were able to extend it for a little longer, which was great because it gave us a chance to get a little bit bigger bang for our buck. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Barry to give us an update. But then also, one of the things that we had asked for, and I know Barry's going to do that for us today, is to talk about, the money is done, and as much as we wish we had more money, and a little money tree out back where we could go pull down some more funding to continue our efforts. One of the things he's going to talk to us about is how can we at the local, or how can you at the local level utilize the assets that were created regardless of budget size. So I know he's going to share some ideas on that. So I'm going to stop talking and let the experts speak.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I've met some of you. Nice to see you guys again. And I read about the guy that started CASA passing away. When I saw the number of kids, it was like 400,000 kids or something over the years. Like, amazing. I mean, what a difference you guys make. So thank all of you for the work that you're doing. And that's from the bottom of my heart. So I'm going to start off. Melissa touched on a couple of these things. I think you need to allow me to share my screen, Melissa, and we will start going through this. Let's
I
see.
think since you're a co-host, you should be able to, but maybe not. Let me just double check. Let me see. I think you should. Do you see at the bottom where it says share
Yeah,
screen?
it says disabled share,
Uh-oh.
host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Oh. Well, that's not good. I'm gonna do something really wild and woolly, and I'm gonna make you the host.
Okay, I promise I'll be good.
See what happens.
There we go.
Are you good now?
I am good now.
All right.
So I am
Um,
going to start here and we'll just kind of start at the top. So I will say our tagline, marketing with a mission. I mean, we're really more than just a marketing company. I mean, we're trying to make a difference in the world, a positive impact. So we like to work with people we love and believe in. So very lucky to be working with you guys. So as Melissa stated, you know, when we first got this opportunity for the volunteer recruitment campaign, we knew that brand awareness was a big issue for CASA. I mean, just being in the Richmond community for over 30 years, 40 years, you know, I had only heard about CASA here and there. So that was one of our big goals, was to just familiarize people with CASA's name and what you guys do. We looked at, you know, the traffic to the website, public awareness, and increasing the number of volunteers, which somebody had mentioned to me that volunteerism in general like dropped 7% last year, which is kind of scary. But I think that we've done a great job maintaining the current volunteer base and continuing to recruit more volunteers. So some of the results from the campaign. So we did a TV campaign statewide. Fortunately, we were able to run over the top advertising, and that's for people that have cut the cable, which is like 60% of TV viewers, but that allowed us to reach the entire state. So what we were able to get from that, so we had kind of an issue. We were able to get two commercials done. I'm hoping I'm in slideshow mode. Let me see. Am I in slideshow mode? I hope.
now you are.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. So we had two TV commercials produced. We were waiting. We had a third, but the person left. But we do actually have a third commercial now that we're able to share with the statewide network that you guys can use. It's a young man named Malik. His casa was Gunny. Met Gunny when he was 7, and now he's 18 and a freshman at ODU studying nursing. So that'll be the third one, and we'll also have a long form commercial for you guys to be able to share. But for the TV campaign itself, we had 1.3 million impressions, meaning 1.3 million people actually saw the TV ads, over 10,000 hours watched in a year. And 95% of the people that began the commercial watched it all the way through. So we really, I feel like, saturated the state as best we could with the budget that we had. And that is a lot of views. So then the other piece of what we did was the digital marketing campaign statewide. So we were very targeted with this. We tweaked and adjusted as we went, as we saw where we were getting our best results. So from YouTube, we had in 1 year 32,878 views. 1,700 of those people clicked through the website. On Google, we had about 2.2 million impressions, almost 7,000 people clicking through to the website. Facebook and Instagram actually generated the most visits to the website, 8,070, with a much smaller number of impressions than Google. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but you can see 260,000 impressions and 8,000 clicks. So 16,584 visits to the website, and 82% of that number was new visitors to the site. So we were really happy with those results, and we're able to make sense of a lot of the strategies based on the results from the campaign. So as Melissa said, so we built up this momentum. We had the TV spots going, we had the digital going, and the last thing I want for you guys, and especially for the kids you serve, is for you guys to go dark. And so, thinking about it, like how can each individual program do something meaningful? All ships, rise together. How can each one of the programs do something to keep your name out there in the community? And doing this on a statewide level, if and when another state grant comes through, that's great. But if it doesn't, I'm hoping that I can give you guys some tips on how you can market yourselves on a very affordable basis and see measurable results. So we're going to start off with social media because obviously it's free. So as I say here, it's just like business. The best source of new business is always repeat business and referrals. In you guys' case, current volunteers and employees are your best source for new volunteers because they already know you and love you. They're going to tell everybody they know about you. Your social media channels are a great way to keep your constituents engaged, updated. I see a lot of posts from a lot of different programs around the state. They look really good. They get a lot of engagement. And again, this is more to appeal to your current base, but it also is seen by people that maybe aren't working with you guys right now. My suggestion is that you use your own content if you can. It just makes it a lot more personal and believable. So if you have, and it doesn't have to be a great picture, it doesn't have to be professional. But if you're at an event, if you are at having a fundraiser, if you hire a new employee, all things that you can just take a simple picture with your phone, post it up, especially to Instagram and Facebook. I mean, that is really where you get the meat of your engagement on social media. But if for some reason you just feel totally uncomfortable using your own content, I know that National CASA does offer assets for you to be able to kind of create stuff on your own. But again, my strong advice would be to use your own content. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is obviously a hot topic, not just with CASA programs, but with businesses, with everybody right now. So the way we address that in your marketing campaign from last year is we show diversity of people. We show diversity of the kids that you're serving, the volunteers, the directors. I mean, so show what you want to attract. If you want to attract more minorities, show more minorities. If you want to attract younger people, show younger people. Show content that's going to match up with the audience that you're trying to appeal to, and also the audience that you want to attract. So and then for social media, you can't just do a post a month and think that that's going to do anything. That's not going to really make much of an impact at all. I would say at a minimum, at a minimum, I would say try to post once a week. And of course, there are tools out there that will allow you to create a post for both Instagram and Facebook, and you just push one button and it posts to both. But doing this, it just continually builds your brand up with your existing audience and lets them know that you're active out there. So social media posting is a very inexpensive, great way to just keep yourself in front of the people that know you. So social media advertising is a little bit different. So working with many of the CASA programs over the last several years, we've seen that Facebook advertising has definitely been the most effective. And Google, YouTube, and Instagram are right behind that. And, thinking logically about it, Facebook, it's people my age in their 50s, empty nesters. They have the time, they can pay their bills, so they have the ability to go out and volunteer. One of the things that, became pretty evident as we were doing the campaigns, the word volunteer can be so misleading because our office did a volunteer day at Habitat for Humanity. It was one day, 8 hours, and that was it. So we know that we have to plant these seeds with all these different things that we're doing because it's going to take seeing your name and your message multiple times before people really express an interest in becoming a volunteer. So 35 to 55-year-old women is where you're dominating right now, which that gives us the opportunity to say, okay, how do we reach outside of that audience that we're already successful with? but we certainly don't want to overlook the audience that you are most successful with, because that's going to reflect the audience that you're going to continue to be successful with. And so we talk about budget, and I know I work with a lot of nonprofits, and budget is an issue. So what I've tried to do is identify ways that you guys, for just, hundreds of dollars a month, can see results from your marketing. So I put an example here together for one of the local programs that we worked with. This was a Facebook video campaign that we ran. So for $300, we had 30,285 people play our video, and then we actually had 979 people click through to the website for $292. So, I mean, if 10%, were interested in volunteer, that's good numbers. And so you don't have to have thousands and thousands of dollars to be able to reach an audience that is going to be interested. There was 979 people that were interested enough after seeing these ads to actually click through to the website and take the next step. And just so you guys know, I have a sheet for you that I'm going to forward on to Melissa to send out to you guys. It's a how to set up a Facebook ad campaign, how to set up an Instagram ad campaign. So don't worry. Don't say, well, I see this looks great, but how do I do it? Because I do have the answer for that. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right. So either everybody's muted or everybody's on board.
I don't see any in the chat so far.
Okay,
so
great.
I'll monitor that for you.
Awesome. Because now I'm in slide mode. So email marketing, along the same lines of social media, email marketing, great way to keep volunteers, donors, board members, employees engaged at a very low cost. We're Constant Contact partners, so I prefer Constant Contact, but MailChimp is just as good. Those are the two big ones. You're talking anywhere from probably $200 a year, maybe as high as like $800 a year, depending on how many contacts you have. But I mean, when you do the math monthly, very, very inexpensive way to reach the people that you want to reach. And one of the things I like about email campaigns is you can have separate lists for separate campaigns. So if you had an event specifically for volunteers, you can do an email blast just to your volunteers. You want to do a donor email, you can blast just to donors. So again, what we're trying to do here really is, branding is such a cliche, but it is so important. I mean, that's how these, gigantic, American Cancer Society and St. Jude's and all these guys, they have built their brand. And that's really what the goal is for CASA here, is to continue to build the brand. So every time somebody sees that email, even if they hit delete, they've seen your logo, they've seen CASA's name, they've seen your message, so you're doing your job, keeping in touch with them. I call email marketing proactive social media. And one of the other really nice things about these email campaigns, down at the bottom, it says forward to a friend. So somebody that's volunteering with you and they love you and they're just so happy, volunteering for you, can just easily send that to, a coworker or a family member, and, try to get them involved with CASA. So, and again, you can look at Constant Contact, MailChimp. The pricing is based on the number of contacts, but I think it's like if you had 5,000, it might be like $50 a month, just as an idea. So this is something else to put in your arsenal. So again, as a small operation, if there's one of you, if there's 3 of you, if there's 10 of you, these are things that you can implement pretty much immediately and start seeing results from. So now we get into the big stuff. So Google obviously is the behemoth. 94% of searches on the web are Google. So you have to have a strong relationship with Google. And the way you do that, the number one thing, and it's a lot of times it's overlooked, is your Google My Business page. So if you were to pick up your phone and say into your phone, volunteer opportunities near me, what's going to pop up is a map, like with the top 3 listings on that map of people offering volunteer opportunities. We want you to be on that map. So you're going to need, and again, we have step-by-step instructions for you to have, for how you go about setting up your Google My Business page. But you want to flesh that page out as much as possible and let Google know exactly what you're doing in your description and your photos. You have to have your correct work hours on there, phone number, and then reviews. And you think to yourself, why would somebody give a review for us? But think of a review like, volunteering for CASA has been the best thing I've ever done in my life. It's so fulfilling. I wish everybody did it. That's a review. It's not a review directed at the specific work that you're doing, but more people that are working with you and what they think about you. So ask volunteers, ask donors, ask anybody and everybody to go on and give you good reviews on Google, because it's one of the things that Google uses to determine if they're delivering the best results to the person searching. So if somebody searches volunteer opportunities near me, and Chesterfield CASA is right there, you've got 45 reviews and it's 4.7, that's going to look very trustworthy, and Google's going to be like, yes, we want to deliver up this result in the search. So, again, you can put your photos in there. Just try to build out that Google My Business page, and it's not hard, but build it out as best you can. Then we get into Google Analytics, which everybody's heard of, but people don't know exactly what it does. For you guys, I understand you have board members that you have to report to. You have other constituents that you have to report to. So capturing data is really important because it helps you establish a baseline of where you are now and what improvements are being made. Are we getting more visits to our website? Are we getting higher in the organic rankings? How is our Google My Business page doing? How is our social media doing? So we're able to see all this in analytics. And so you can go back to your board and say, hey, when we started in January 2024, we were getting 500 visits a month to our website. Now we're getting 1,500. And people want to get on board with winners, so as we're improving in our rankings and improving in the visits we're getting to our site, it's good for everybody because we know we're getting the message out there more and more. So analytics, most people are familiar with. Search Console, not so much. A lot of people just don't really even know about Search Console. But what I love about it, it captures what people actually typed into Google to get to your website. So, and we can see branded searches versus non-branded searches. So a branded search would be like somebody searching Piedmont CASA. All right. So that's a branded search. Somebody searching volunteer opportunities in Lynchburg, that's a non-branded search because they weren't specifically searching for CASA. So that's another sort of measurement tool that you want to look at. How many of the people that are coming to our website already knew us versus searching an unbranded term like volunteer opportunities? So you want to have both of these things installed on your website. You also capture demographic data on Search Console as far as age, gender, cities. So there's a lot of really good information in there. And all three of these, we're going to give you instructions on how to use or how to set these things up if you don't already have them set up. Any questions on this? All right. Well, just let me know. So I'm sorry, going backwards. All right. So measurement, and just like I touched on a second ago. So data is powerful. We want to know how many website visits we're getting, what percent are new visits versus returning visits. Where are these visits coming from? Are they coming from our social media channels? Are they coming from ads that we're running on Facebook and Instagram? Are they coming from Google ads, Google My Business? So all this is really important because it starts to create a picture of your marketing and how it's performing. So if you don't have a picture, you have no idea. You're just completely shooting in the dark. So you have to create that baseline, understand where you are now so that you can see what needs improvement. So this is going to help us understand our current audience, where we're falling short, the current demographics, where we might be falling short in that area. We'll see what pages people are hitting the most, and is it the pages you want them to be hitting? So the home page is almost always going to be the first page they hit. What's the second page? We want it to be volunteer. But all this data is tracked, and you can say, oh, we're not getting nearly enough traffic to a specific page. And then there's things that you can do to beef up that page to make sure that you're getting more people through to it. So, and then this is also going to allow you to take the information from Google Analytics and Search Console and Google My Business and your social media and create reports so that you can share this with your team and say, hey, here's how we're doing. We gained 100 followers on Instagram last month. We jumped, 500 visits to our website last month. So again, just having that sort of established baseline that we can see hopefully improvement. And if it's going the wrong way, then we know we have things that need to be addressed. So as I say here, since we've been doing the campaign, I mean, there's been millions of touches. So we have planted seeds, and like I said earlier, we know being a CASA volunteer is not the same as volunteering to go pick up trash by the river. This is a big commitment. So content wise, with the CASA programs I've worked with, my suggestion is to let people know up front what's going to be required of them: 40 hours of training, writing reports for judges, all the things that they're going to need to do as a CASA volunteer, so that the lead forms that come through are good quality leads for volunteers versus somebody that thinks that, it's something they can show up kind of when they want and do it when they want. So we're going to recommend that you keep on marketing, even if it's just one or two of the things that I've talked about. Doing nothing is going to get you nothing. Going to events and networking is great and it's important, but you have to keep your name and your brand out there in front of people. So we know it's going to take, I think the most recent thing I said, it takes like 16 times for somebody to see your name to actually make a commitment. I'm not sure if that's the case in the nonprofit world, but in the business world, that's what they say. So, and as I say here, we're very, very happy, and it makes me happy to come to work every day in a job where I get to help people, and you guys are all in that position. And again, thank you for what you do. And now I am going to pull up the tool that I'm going to use or share with you guys. And I've never shared a, I just let somebody in. I hope she wasn't waiting too long. I'm hoping that, let's see.
Yeah, I made you the host, so I can't see him anymore.
I'm looking to see how I share a Word doc in here. And of course, I don't see that. Let's see. I might have to, don't want to do that. Does anybody, I don't think I've ever shared a Word doc in Zoom.
Can you email it to me? But then you have to make me the host again.
All right, let's see. Okay.
Let's see if I can share your screen.
All right. I just sent that to you, Melissa. And so hopefully what this is going to be, you can try sharing your window instead of tab. Okay, somebody just gave me some advice here. Let's see. Let me see if this will let me. Aha! Thank you, whoever sent that in the chat. So this is, we're getting pretty granular here, so I'm not going to get too in depth, but I'm hoping that this is going to bring some value to you guys. So the things that I touched on, Google My Business. So these are step-by-step instructions on how you set this up. You basically need to be logged into your Google account, and you sign in, you hit manage now, and then you put your information in. That's where you can put in your phone number, your hours of operation, your photos, all that good stuff. They're going to send you a verification code to your business address. So it's going to be a postcard that comes in the mail. And we all know Virginia is number 2 in the country with mail delivery. So, we don't know how long that's going to take, but hopefully eventually you'll get a postcard. And you put that code in, and then you're able to really get that thing fleshed out the way that you want it to be. And the reason you need a Google Business Profile, like we talked about, local visibility. Google Business Profile is going to have you visible in the local search results, making it easier for people to find you. Customer interaction, you can respond to reviews, answering questions on there, building trust, improving customer satisfaction. And then your business information, as crazy as it sounds, Google just put something out and they said, if your hours on your Google My Business page are different than your regular office hours, they're going to ding you for that. So they want accurate information on there. So Google Analytics 4, that's the new Google Analytics. So if you guys already have, or if you had Google Analytics on your site before, you might want to just check and make sure that you have Analytics 4 on there now. They didn't make it a seamless transition. They basically dead-ended at the old Google Analytics, and Google Analytics 4 is like the brand new start of analytics. So again, step-by-step instructions here on how you go about installing your tracking code. And I know some of you are thinking like, how do I install my tracking code? So this should be something that your web developer can help with. IT person can sometimes help with it. But if you just run into dead ends, you guys feel free to just shoot me an email and get us your login information to your website, and we'll drop the tracking code on there for you at no charge. All right. And so then you're good to go with analytics, and you can really start tracking. We're going to look at website traffic, helps us understand user behavior, what your popular content is, conversion paths, meaning like how did people ultimately get in touch with you. You're going to have great reports that you can share, like what channels are driving people through to you. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, people coming from Facebook, or are they coming from Instagram, or are they coming from the DCJS site? You'll be able to see this. So, and then conversion tracking lets you set up, like if somebody visits the volunteer page, we're going to call that a conversion. So you can drop that onto the site as well. So you can see, okay, how many people went through to that page, or how many people called. So, and again, I know this is a little bit deep, which is why I'm providing it as a document so you can go back through and read it on your own. Search Console, again, step-by-step instructions here on how to do it. Same deal as Google Analytics. It's a little snippet of code that you get that you have to have someone drop onto your website. And then you'll send a sitemap of your site, which again, if some of these things don't quite make sense to you, what I've offered to Melissa, and I offer to all you guys right now, I'm willing to donate 1 hour of my time to each one of the programs in the state. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper with me on any of these things, like you don't understand how to install something or why should I do something, you can have an hour of my time to pick my brain, and I'm happy to help. So why do we use Search Console? Again, performance. How is our website performing in Google search? How many impressions are we getting? What's our average position? What's our clicks? Allows you to submit your sitemap. It'll create the sitemap for you. So Google indexes your website properly, which is going to help you in organic search results. And then the other thing it does is it shows you the state of your current website in terms of website health. So if there are things that are making your website not perform as well as it could, Google Search Console is going to shine the light on that and tell you like, oh, you have duplicate content, or you have broken pages, or whatever. So kind of gives you a guide on how to keep your website performing in a healthy way. So YouTube. So as I mentioned, Google is 94% of the searches that get done on the web, but the actual #1 engaged with site on the web is YouTube. People just love video. That's just the world we live in now. Engagement time has gone down on sites because people want to watch videos nowadays. And so a couple things to keep in mind on YouTube. Again, use your own content. If you shoot videos with your phone, and most phones now are high quality enough to create a YouTube video. There's a tool, I didn't actually put it in this document, I should have thought of it, called Animoto. But you can just search the web for like free video editors to make simple videos that you can start loading up to your YouTube channel. But you really want to build that YouTube channel up. Say if you hire a new program director, or you get a new volunteer and they're just awesome. So hold your phone horizontal, not vertical. Yes, horizontal, not vertical, to make sure that you're shooting it in the right way so you don't get those little blurry lines down the side. But I encourage you to definitely post content to YouTube, ask people to follow you on YouTube, and kind of make that your ongoing like forward mission to build up your YouTube channel. So again, Google owns YouTube, so you'll use that same Google account that you used for analytics and Search Console to create your YouTube channel. And so at first you're going to get at first you're going to just kind of have a generic channel, youtube.com/XYZ1234. But after you start getting some subscribers to your channel, you'll actually be able to name it. So you could be like youtube.com/Piedmont CASA, youtube.com/Colonial CASA. So, but I encourage you, because YouTube it gets bigger every day. The amount of content getting put up on YouTube gets bigger every day. So you guys have to have a presence there. So there you go. Upload your videos to your channel, optimize titles, descriptions, and tags. So in other words, if you post a video using my example, Colonial CASA, we just got this new volunteer for Colonial CASA. So we might put Colonial CASA welcomes new volunteer. So we're hitting keywords in the title of our video, because when Google's out there looking for stuff, because Google owns YouTube, if you have a video about volunteering for CASA in Williamsburg, and then Google sees this, it's going to pick up on that. So you want to optimize your titles, descriptions, and tags to get that out there. So why YouTube? It's a platform for hosting and sharing video. We all know that. I'm sure probably everybody that is on this call right now has used YouTube within the past few days. SEO benefits: videos on YouTube can appear in Google searches. So if you ever do a Google search of like a song that you like, you'll notice that it'll deliver up YouTube results, not just organic listings. So it's that same concept. So again, we want to enhance the online visibility for each program. All ships are going to rise, and we want to build more traffic there. And then the other thing that you want to do is on your YouTube channel, obviously have a link to your website from your YouTube channel, so you can track who went from YouTube to your website.
So Barry, there's a
yes.
question. What
Yes.
about shorts on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook? Have you tried these and looked into the results of how well they do? That's a question from Jordan.
It's a great question, and they perform better. Video ads are 70% more effective than static ads. So I highly encourage you to create video ads. They get great results. It's like, movement attracts our brain and attracts our eyes. So yes, I would try to make shorts, Instagram, Facebook, very good idea and good question too.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question. What's SEO?
SEO is search engine optimization. So it's basically
Of course.
optimizing your website. No, I mean, it's a great question. I mean, I've had people like, spell it SCO. I'm like, okay. But no, it's just basically continuing to optimize your site. One thing that's never changed on Google, I mean, and I'm going on 29 years in business, and it's hard to believe I was in business before Google ever even started. But the one thing that's always been consistent with Google is they like fresh, relevant content. This is why blogging is important. This is why social media posting is important. Don't leave your website with the same copy on it forever and ever and ever and expect that you're going to get better in the search engines. It has to be new. It has to be relevant. I see Kristen dropped something in here. So benefit to uploading to YouTube. No, I think, Kristen, to your question, I think upload to both. Yeah, upload everywhere. It's not going to be considered duplicate content. So Melissa, I think you got muted again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just for purposes of you might be joining on the phone. I'm just going to read that question. We frequently use reels on Instagram, which are vertical orientation. Is there a benefit to uploading to YouTube, or is the vertical nature too much of a hindrance? And
Oh, I'm sorry, Kristen. I misunderstood the question. So when you're saying the vertical orientation, yeah, exactly. So you guys have all seen YouTube ads where there's like the blurred lines down the side. I don't love that look. It's fine and it'll perform just fine. I just don't think it looks as good from an aesthetic standpoint. But that doesn't need to stop you from posting the videos there anyway. But if you can do both, mix it up a little bit and, have the proper orientation for YouTube and have the proper orientation for Instagram. So sorry, I've misunderstood that question, but I think that's the correct answer there. So getting into Constant Contact, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing with MailChimp, just log in, create an account, and, design your campaign. So we have done custom email sort of, what would you call it? Like a custom email template for some of our nonprofit clients. So in other words, like we can create a template for you that you can just drop your content into. But MailChimp and Constant Contact also give you the ability to design your own. And I'm pretty sure Canva even gives you an opportunity to like create your own email look. But one thing you want to be consistent with on your email campaigns is don't change them up. Like as far as like the header and the footer, the content in between is fine. But one of the real goals of this is to continue to build on the brand. So, so every time they see that email, we want them to know, we want them to know like, oh, another email from CASA. So it should be recognizable, especially if you're only doing one a month. If you're doing two a month, that's even better. I think you can get a little bit too crazy with emails and people will start unsubscribing. So I would say 2 or 3 would probably be the max. I wouldn't send one out every week because people will just start ignoring them, but you want to keep them frequent enough where they're staying engaged with your brand. And again, one of the things that I love about the email campaigns, no postage fees, no printing fees, it's inexpensive. And what a nonprofit used to pay just for postage to do a mailing, you can have an email marketing account for a year and reach so many more people that are actually interested in what you're doing. So again, target your messages. I like, I know, I think Henrico Casa's like Casa Connections, I believe, but name your email, so when people see it, they're like, oh, it's the, Colonial Casa Connection or whatever. I mean, but again, just make use of the eyeball time that you're getting with the person that opens that email. Okay, look at the picture, look at the header, look at the footer. Like when you get this, like what's the response going to be? So, choose a photo that's compelling. People always respond best to photos of actual people. Now, in this case, it doesn't have to be your real people, like I mentioned, for your social media. This is a place where you could certainly grab content from grab assets from national, and create your campaign with those. So, and again, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a question here from Allison about thoughts on cleaning up our constant contact list. It feels overwhelming. Allison, I feel your pain.
Yeah. So, I mean, so as we know, Constant Contact is going to clean up any bad addresses, duplicate addresses. So that they try to do their best to keep it as clean as possible. I think sometimes, unfortunately, it comes down to just a manual looking through the list and seeing if people are actually relevant. And, but I think Constant Contact overall does a pretty good job from keeping duplicates from going out and keeping the list clean.
So Allison says no.
But yeah, it's it's something that nobody wants to do. It's like kind of going through the garage, that's been sitting there with the same stuff in it for, 5 years. But it's important. And, I would rather, the benefit of it far outweighs the, having to clean it up and keep it clean and managed and things like that. But also that brings up a good point too, that I don't think I put in my presentation here is, ask people to sign up, ask people to sign up to get them, because you'd be surprised. I mean, so many people will, subscribe and want your email. So put that on your website, like, hey, join our email campaign here. So again, contact management, I like this. So being able to segment out lists. So say like you do one fundraiser every year, and all the people that have donated, you want to just send an email to the people that have donated. Hey, thank you so much for helping us last year. Looking forward to partnering again with you this year. Again, it could be to all your volunteers, like, we appreciate you, whatever it is. But I like the ability to choose everybody on your list for a mass blast, but then also get more segmented and direct with these individualized lists. And the other great thing about Constant Contact, just like all the Google stuff, it's going to provide data for us. So we see, what's a good Constant Contact versus a bad Constant Contact. And this is, I think a lot of times people kind of forget to go back and look and see how successful their social media posts were, or their Constant Contact blasts. But I always say, like, we as a company use data in a circular fashion. So you do a Constant Contact blast to your whole list. You see that it gets a very low click-through rate. Okay, ask yourself why. What are we missing here? You do another Constant Contact blast, you get a great response rate. You ask yourself why. What did we do this time that we didn't do last time? And same with social media posts. If you see that certain posts get a lot of engagement, and that's why I was saying use your own people, because what we've seen is when you use your own people, the engagement time with your social media post is going to be a lot higher than putting in like a graphic or a stock photo. So, but again, using that data, not just to collect it, but actually using it to help you improve what you're doing with your social media posting and with your email campaigns is really important. So, as this says, each platform plays a unique role in enhancing your online presence and reaching the target audience, and integrating all these into your strategy, or it's going to help contribute to a more comprehensive and effective online presence. And honestly, like, even if you're a program of one, people are going to be like, man, I see you guys everywhere. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you're on Google Ads when I search. So, and that's the goal, that familiarity. So, speaking of Facebook, so Facebook ads, as I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, that was really our sweet spot as far as results from the campaign that we did last year. And it makes sense if you think about it. Like I said, a lot of people on Facebook are empty nesters. They have the time, they have the ability, they're interested in things, which is why they're on Facebook. So Facebook ads should be very inexpensive for you. The best thing about all of this, as far as Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, you control the budget. So you can have a budget of $100 and you'll get $100 worth of ads delivered. If you have 500, budget 500. But you're gonna get your money's worth, because once it's done and it's used up. So you either put more in, you tweak and adjust, you spend less, whatever the case may be. But I would highly recommend Facebook ads. If you were only to do one type of online sort of thing, like this is what we can do, I would say do Facebook ads first. And I would say that would probably be followed by Instagram ads. So real clear directions here on how to set up your Facebook ad campaign. And again, unlike a social media post, I think it's just fine to use the assets from National CASA to create your Facebook ad campaign. And you might want to look at what other CASAs are doing too, to see if anything really jumps out at you as like, wow, I really like that one. So, but yeah, with Facebook, you can choose your objective: brand awareness, website traffic, conversions, etc. You can define your audience, which is why Facebook is in court right now, because they know everything about you, how often you bike ride and where you traveled to last and all that good stuff. So, but it's great from a marketer's perspective because we know we can hit people that match up directly to who we're going after. So, and again, budget is really up to you. You can set a daily budget, lifetime budget. And the amount is strictly up to you.
So
So,
there's a question from
yeah,
Janine about, can you set a maximum if you have a tight or strict budget so it wouldn't go over that spend?
yes, yes. So you can set, like I said, you can set the daily budget. You can set it as a lifetime budget. You can set it as a monthly budget. But basically, you dictate to Facebook, this is my budget, and I'm not going to exceed it. So creative, create ad creative. So, again, a lot of people love Canva. I think that's a good place to create ads, but however you do it, just get ads out there showing people in the ads, and use what's been successful for the CASA programs, change a child's story forever, like whatever the copy is. And then you show a CASA volunteer with a kid, because people visually, you're already kind of telling people, like, here's a CASA volunteer, here's a kid, change a child's story forever. I get it. It's easy. It's kind of like the 5-second rule with billboards. You want it to be something that people easily understand.
So
Let's
here's
see.
another question. What are some demographics we should set for ideal potential CASA volunteers besides location?
So this kind of gets into an interesting, okay, like
And then,
have
yeah,
tried.
Kristen, they've tried age, education,
Yep,
interest demographics, like people interested in causes are likely to donate.
that's exactly right. I mean, yeah, and all those options are available in Facebook to set as demographics. But what I always tell people in the business world, and it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, like I said, is it's on the top of everybody's mind right now. Business community, nonprofits, etc. So you have to think about that when you're creating these ads and you're creating these messages, which is, again, why in the campaigns that we've run for you guys, we always show diversity of volunteers, age, kids served, all that. So don't have all old white people in your ads. Like, that's just, like, no, spread it out, mix it up, try to appeal to everybody you can appeal to. But just make sure you are directing, I would say, probably 75% of your budget towards people that you've already been successful with. And that comes back to what I said earlier from our demographic measurement. 35 to 55-year-old women are really your sweet spot. Um, do we want to branch out? Absolutely. Do we want more guys? Absolutely. Do we want more diversity? Absolutely. So show it. It's interesting. Like, one of my employees attended a digital marketing conference, and they were talking about the lack of diversity in voiceovers for TV commercials. And they did this study that said when an African American read the commercials, the response from African Americans soared, right? The response from non-African Americans stayed the same. It didn't make a difference. Okay. I thought that was kind of like really interesting, So it's like people are people and we're all going to see each other as people. So, but again, think about we don't have enough guys in our program volunteering. How do we get more guys? Show guys in your ads. Okay. Because the guy's going to see your ad and be like, hey, that looks like somebody like me. Maybe I could do that. So, then Facebook, it just has a ton of options. Oh, Allison says, yes, we have used those too. Just curious if you had more suggestions. So the other suggestion that I make to companies that I work with and have spent a tremendous amount of money helping people figure this out. look at your zip codes, for your volunteers. Okay. Not for who you're serving, but for your volunteers. Where are our volunteers coming from? Because again, you're going to draw people from that are like the people that are already volunteering for you, if that makes sense. So I know we're coming up on short time, but looking at those zip codes really kind of gives you a good eye of like, wow, like 40% of our volunteers live in zip code 23, blah, 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 or whatever. It just kind of helps you see where people are coming from. So let's see, I think I'm getting close here to my time up. I've got 3 minutes, but this kind of just outlines the benefits of Facebook advertising, which we all know. Social engagement, like this says, people's ability to share, social interactions, brand awareness, visually appealing. Again, the all ships rise thing, different ad formats that you can use. Retargeting is something I didn't mention, but you can set up retargeting on Facebook. So people that visit your website, you can push them ads out. So they come to the website, they're interested, but they don't sign up. But then they get, a couple of days later, they're surfing the web and wow, there's a CASA ad. And maybe I'm interested. So, and then again, very detailed data that it provides. So again, you can make decisions based on what went well and what didn't go well. So I'm going to make the most of my last 2 minutes here. Google Ads, again, Google is still the behemoth. So this is going to tell you how to set up your Google Ads. You can define your audience, not quite as specifically as Facebook. The type of ads you want to run. So we mentioned search, display, and video ads here. I'm a big fan of display ads. They're the visual ads, kind of like you see on Facebook and Instagram. A lower click-through rate, but huge for branding. And when you log into Google and you kind of start familiarizing yourself with this, you'll understand it a little bit better. But again, feel free to call me as well. And just like with Facebook, you set your budget. It's not going to go past your budget. You can have different ad groups. So you could have an ad group geared towards volunteers. You could have an ad group geared towards potential board members. I'm throwing that out there, but you can just put you can have different campaigns, different groups, et cetera. So if you wanted to go after like college kids or, whatever it is. And then again, the creating a creative ad, and then you're able to review all your campaigns before you actually launch. But again, you've got your budget capped. So it's only going to spend $200 if that's how much you say you have to spend. And like I say here, the Google and Facebook ads are a great way to reach a target audience. Here's all the benefits of Google ads. And this is a document that you guys will hopefully be able to use to help get things set up. And I'm going to exit out of there. And do I need to make you a the host again, Melissa?
Okay.
Where do I do that? I don't even know.
You know what? I think we're fine.
Okay.
So yeah, well, thank you so much, Barry, and thank you for your kind offer to assist our programs with any additional questions on actually how to implement all of this. The one takeaway that I have is having been around for a long time and seeing how our public awareness and volunteer recruitment activities, just how much it has shifted over the years. Back when I started, it was put an ad in a paper or see if you can't get a spot on a, regular television channel. And it's just things have just really changed. And the art of volunteer recruitment and PR, public awareness has just really changed. So that's kind of my big takeaway from the presentation. And I think one of the things I think would be really interesting is for our network to really think through what the question that Allison asked, which was, what are some of those other demographics, particularly in the area of recruiting diverse volunteers? So what would be some of those other kinds of descriptors to be, looking for, because that is such an important part of our work. So that's something I think we can think about as a network of how we can do that. So all that to say, thank you so much. And if folks have additional questions, we can talk some more. And all these people on this call for marketing, I have a great committee for you. It's called the marketing committee. So let's talk. So anyway.
So again, I just remember, if you have trouble, so I'm gonna so Melissa will share this Word doc as well as my email address with you. You get an hour of my time. If you want it, feel free to call me, shoot me an email. We'll set something up and we can talk and get a little more specific on things.
And thank you so much for that generous offer. That's incredible. Thank you.
Thank you guys for letting me know, or letting me be part of what you're doing.
Well, you've been a tremendous champion for our cause. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Great to see all of you again.
Thank you.
You guys take care. Bye.
Bye.